first. Yes, a community is for everybody. Absolutely it is. Your pricing, that would be the number one thing, okay? And a lot of people think that pricing a community you should start low, $25, $27, $29, $30, but it should not be that low. There's a lot of work in leading a community and having a community. There's a lot of engagement. And if you're offering the right products, which I'll get into next, then you know that the value and the end result for your member is priceless, right? And so I would not, for everybody that's out there, I would not start a membership-based business for less than low end $97. Big time.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the $1 Million Secrets podcast. If you want to learn how to take your audience and turn it into a community, you are in the right place, because today we have a guest that's going to show you exactly how you can do that, how you can go about building an audience of raving fans, how you can go about building an audience of people that aren't just followers on Instagram, followers on Facebook, but how you can also create a community that, ultimately brings in more revenue for your business. So today we have Mary Boyde, Dr. Mary Boyde. Welcome to the show. So excited to have you here. This is going to be a fun conversation we have all about community creation. Right now, more than ever, I really feel like it's important for people to build a community, and now more than ever to monetize this in their business. So welcome to the show. How's it going?
Oh my God, it's going absolutely amazing, Mike. Thank you so very much for having me on your wonderful show today. I am so excited to talk to everyone about the power of community.
Yeah, well, let's jump in. Let's dive into it. So the audience, you're listening or watching right now. You're an online entrepreneur, right? You're probably a course creator, probably a consultant, a speaker, and you're like, man, I've been wanting to get this community thing down, right? That's the big topic right now, is like that monthly recurring revenue. And how do you do that? So it's really cool. I brought Mary in because Mary has done this really well, and she has a community of which is like become a family now to her, right? And so, Mary, tell us a little bit about who you are and what community that you've been able to cultivate over the past few years.
Wow. So again, my name is Dr. Mary L. Boyde, and I actually help Black women entrepreneurs create recurring revenue in their business, whether they already have one or they're wanting to start one, so they can either replace their 9 to 5, have a cash infusion in their business, and create the life that they desire. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. So personally, I hail from the ATL, the great state of Georgia, by way of the DMV, as they say. I always will be a DC girl, always. I'm married. I have one son, and I'm just completely living my blessed life, Mike.
As we're speaking, she just got back from vacation, so she is ready to go. She's rejuvenated and ready.
I am very rejuvenated. So, the interesting thing about community is that community has been around forever. Like when I grew up, the community is who raised you. You
Right.
lived in your house, but the community raised you. Sister Johnson down the street, if she saw you doing something you weren't supposed to do, she, got with you real quick, right? And
Yep.
it's okay. Communities raised you. And so we have grown up, most of us, those my age, I might be telling my age, those my age have grown up in a community environment. It's always been there, but suddenly it's starting to get a buzz and get a fire under it. But it is absolutely crucial that everyone have a community in their business, and they already have one in the sense probably of the clients or customers that they serve. They may have somewhere that they house them, but it's totally different when you are creating a
So like the community goes beyond just Instagram. The community goes
Yes,
beyond just having a Facebook group. Is that what you're trying to like where you're getting to?
yes, absolutely. It absolutely goes beyond that because people want connection, especially coming off of a pandemic, right? Oh, or I mean, they say we're off of it, but who knows, right? But coming from being secluded for so long, people I think really realize that they need the power of touch and seeing and being a part of and not necessarily being isolated. So it is very important that
Right.
activities happen right now.
Yeah, and everything you said is so true. But what I also love about this is for some of you all, you've been trying to do this, and when it's done the right way, it could take your brand to a whole nother level. Like people are wanting it, like she said, but like this can take what you're doing to a whole new stratosphere, right? If we want to say it that way. So like whenever it comes to building a community, like we know it's not just having a Facebook group. It's not just putting people into mighty networks or something like that, right? There's more to it. You've built a pretty successful community. You've been helping people. What do you feel like is this the separator? What is that thing? Is there a thing that separates people who are building communities successfully from those who are not?
I believe it is, and it's the way that you show up. Now we hear that all the time is, you show up in your community, you show up in your community, but you're not showing up to try to get them to buy something more. You're showing up in a way that shows them that you literally truly from your heart and genuinely care about them. In my community, we talk about everything. We know about each other's families, we know about each other's businesses. We come together physically as a community at least once a year, and I listen. So it's not about what I want to give to the community, it's what they're saying they need. And whatever it is that they need, we do our best to provide that. And it has been long standing. To your point, I have members that's been a part of my community for the 3 years that I've had it so far. And statistics will tell you that that's not the norm. Normally,
Right.
people stay in communities 3 to 6 months, and then it's a constant churn out of their community. I have hundreds and hundreds of members that's been with me for 3 years at least.
Man, that's so cool. Yeah, that's definitely not common. And so for people that are listening in, you're like, so what does community mean? So like in this sense, in this what we're talking about, right? We're talking about membership based offers, right?
Mhm.
And just building a community as a whole throughout this conversation. So just know there's two sides of the coin. We're talking about building a brand loyalty. We're talking about building a community, but we're also talking about building a membership offer where people can come in and for maybe a certain price per month, right? They get access to a community, a membership, we may call it, to get access to you and to your resources, right? And so Mary's done amazing at this. And so, yeah, so you said showing up.
Yeah.
Showing up has been something that sets people apart. And one thing I love that you said there, and I want to hit on this, is you ask, what do the people need, right? What do the people want?
Mhm.
You look for those instead of saying, I think they need this. I think they want this.
Correct.
It's you look in the community first for those answers, right?
Absolutely. Because initially, with those for you entrepreneurs that are out there, you have your business, you have your product, you have your service. And initially, you are getting your clients and customers to purchase that thing. But beyond that thing, what is it that they need in their everyday ongoing life to ensure that they not only succeed based on your product or service, but they succeed in life? Life doesn't stop with your product or service, right? And
Right.
so it's always the product and service typically is always the surface thing. But there's always underlining topics and issues and concerns that your members have. And if they don't get it from you, they're going to go and find a community that they're going to get it from.
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's powerful.
So it is this, that's why it goes beyond. So people think that it's just starting a Facebook group and you post in it every so often, you go live every so often. And, they say give value content and you're giving them some, the 7 steps to whatever. But it goes beyond that. It's more, it is so much more than that. And
Right.
you find out what your community needs and wants, the sky's the limit.
I love it. It was like there may be some people listening to this and they're like, cool. Like that this sounds so cool, but how do you actually do that, right? So let's speak to the person that maybe has been trying to build a community. They may have a few people in it, but the community is not engaged, right? The community is not showing up. Is there a way you kind of would reignite a community, or maybe even take like, is there a survey you do to see what people need? How do you go about figuring out what those needs and wants are? Is it you just directly ask? What would you say to the person who feels maybe stuck
Mhm.
and they want to figure out what you just said?
So, yes, you can do a poll, you can do a survey, you can throw it in your community platform and get the responses. But I'm going to tell you what's going to set you above the rest. Make a phone call.
Ooh, I like
People
that.
lose
Personal.
the power or have lost the power of the phone. And I know, don't do a text, because most of the time, even if you're texting personally, people think it's a bot or people think it's something automated,
Yeah.
right? Even though it could be you actually texting. So pick up the phone to be able to hear your voice on the other end of the line, and you thought enough of them to actually call them personally and say, hey, you know what? I just wanted to touch bases with you. And that is one of the most powerful game changers, and finding out what it is that
So simple too. So simple too.
simple. Does it take time? Absolutely. But will that time be worth it for you in the end? Yes, it will. Absolutely will. So that is the number one thing that I would tell anybody that may be struggling. You have a handful of members in your community, and like you said, they're really not engaged. They're not answering the post. They're not doing. Pick up the phone and call them. Use a Google Voice.
Man, it's so simple. Like it's those personal touches, right? It's that personal touches that may not you may not see the fruit of the results right away, but it compounds, right?
It comes.
And it yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that's so
then the
cool.
number two thing I would say again is checking in individually with some of the
Mm.
members. Like I say, reach out to them and say, hey, I was just thinking about you today, and I just wanted to call and see how you were doing. Don't want to sell you
And
anything.
this you're giving like you're dropping like leadership tips, whether you know it or not. Like so what she's talking about isn't just community membership. Like this is leadership based stuff. And like if I was to say so myself, because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I feel like every leader,
Mhm.
every entrepreneur should have a way in a system. It doesn't have to be like an exact on this day I'm gonna do it. Maybe it could be, or a plan on how they're going to follow up with their team and be a better leader for their team, right? It could be like, hey, every Friday I'm going to sit down with at least one employee, have lunch with them,
Mhm.
right? Or it could be for in the members standpoint, if you have a community or membership based
Mhm.
offer, it could be like, hey, here is our retention plan, right? So what you're mentioning, Dr. Mary, is like super cool because you're not only reaching out, hearing the needs and the wants, but they're going to feel noticed, they're going to feel loved, and which leads to longer retention, right? Which leads to longer memberships, which is really cool because you're living proof of it. I mean, you said some of your members have been there for 3 years. Like that's not common.
It does, but what it also does, it leads to them being a raving fan and not a follower. Because there's two different things. There's so many people that may follow you, right? And we think in our minds following is like the money maker. It's, I got a
Right.
million followers, 15,000 followers, whatever it is. But if those followers are not purchasing your product or services, they're not part of your community, they're not purchasing a membership for you, they're just watching. I call them watchers versus followers, right?
Yep.
But
I like that. Yep.
fan, a raving fan is going to tell other people about you. people think, I love ads and I love doing all the things, right? But the word of mouth marketing, I think people have underestimated or have forgotten about that. When someone else can tell you with passion and emotion about something that they're a part of, the leadership that's there, the administration, or just the people in the community, and you hear that passion in their voice, it will make you want to join. You be like, at least let me look at
That's so true. Like I think back to like times when I was like going to restaurants and like I loved a restaurant so
it.
much that I was like, I have to tell everybody about this place, right? And so it's the creating that wow effect, which is really cool, right? That raving fan effect. That's really dope. So let's go back to the beginning, right? You probably learned a lot of lessons along the way,
Right.
right? And so what are some of the biggest lessons outside of what we just talked about you maybe learned as you start building, and I'm talking more on the let's talk more on the technical business side,
Okay.
right? So what are some of the lessons you've learned, or maybe lessons you would give people that are like, how do I price my membership, right? So this is cool, I want to build raving fans, but I got to make money too,
Absolutely.
right? That's a lot of people here. So what are some tips you would give to people like just starting out? How do they price product? What do they include in a community? And is a community for everybody?
So, well, let me answer the last question first. Yes, a community is for everybody. Absolutely, it is. Um, your pricing, that would be the number one thing, okay? And a lot of people think that pricing a community you should start low, $25, $27, $29, $30, but it should not be that low. There's a lot of work in leading a community and having a
Right.
community. There's a lot of engagement. And if you're offering the right products, which I'll get into next, then you know that the value and the end result for your member is priceless, right? And so I would not, for everybody that's out there, I would not start a membership based business for less than low end $97. Low end.
That's like a lot. That's very counterintuitive because I'm gonna say like a lot of people that'll come in. Mary, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. This is cool to hear, right? So a lot of people step in, and I've heard many people say start out low, like you said, make it a lower entry, right? And so why do you say start at 97? Is that the magic number, or is there some kind of buy-in maybe effect, like where people are more serious at $97? I'd love to hear what your psychology is
People
behind that.
are absolutely more serious at $97, right? But $97, Mike, is only $3.23 a day. When you break that
Right.
down, like, really? You can't get McDonald's for $3.23.
That's so true. Not anymore.
Not
No.
anywhere, right? And so it's still low, but it's not outrageously where you are not able to run your business because you want some systems, you want automation, you want to be able to have the staff that you need, you want to develop other programs, you want to be able to do things for your community. So 20 something dollars, 40 something dollars, it is not going to get you there. It's just not. And so $97 is some psychology because it's right under $100, right? And so people like, oh, $97, that's not $3 a day for all that I'm getting. That's nothing, right? And it isn't anything, especially for the results that you are going to help your members get. It's not a community where people are just gathering to have fun and high five each other and celebrate. Yeah, you do
Right.
that too. But you want some results. So is $97 a month worth you making $100,000 a month? And I'm talking about the member. The
Yeah.
to the
Yeah. Yeah.
point of where they're making $50,000 a month. Is 97 worth it? Heck yeah, it is. So your pricing is everything, right? So if you are not comfortable charging 150, 300, whatever the higher numbers are above $100, I would never start lower than $97. Absolutely.
Oh, that's no, this is cool to hear because I would love for everybody listening or watching this to go research around because you will hear people and everybody probably has preferences, right? But it's cool to hear somebody who's has
Yes.
experience like Dr. Mary, right? So this isn't somebody that is just here teaching something that she just learned last week on YouTube or last week she learned on a webinar. This is something that she's tested. So I would love like what was your experience when you first starting to build out your community? Was this something like you picked up 1,000 members? Like I'm just saying theoretically, 500 or 1,000 members in one weekend? Was it like it took time to build? Share your story with us.
Yes.
This is going to be
And
cool to hear.
so one thing like that I'm so adamant about pricing, because I was that one that started at $29.95.
And I'm assuming you probably got burnt out, or it just
I
didn't work
started at
out.
$29.95, and all the things that I was doing, all the things that I needed to do, a lot of times we price for right now and not the future. And that's what I did. I priced
That's powerful. That's a
not
gem
the
right there.
future. And so when you end up tripling or quadrupling your price, you better believe you're going to lose people, right? Because people are going to say, I've been getting all of this for, $30, and now you're going, and what am I doing? Honestly, I should have been charging you $250 off of that, right? Um,
Right.
so you don't want to go through that headache. So that's why I say at least start there, and that's a great cushion. And I'm gonna give you a number how powerful that is. But when I first started out, I grew in 6 months to almost 25,000 numbers. So
You said in
in
six
6 months,
months,
yeah,
20. Wait, say that again. The last
20
part number. How many members?
25,000.
Okay, and at what price point? If you don't mind
Twenty
sharing, what?
nine ninety five.
So you went to 29.95. Like that just blows my mind,
Uh-huh.
right? And so, are you like conning these people, or like how you doing this? I'm just messing with you, but like that's super, that's
Yeah.
amazing, right? And so that's why I like that. I didn't lead out with those numbers at the beginning because I wanted you to truly hear what this lady had to say before she brought all the stats in. So share you were doing 29.95,
29.95.
and how long did it stay that way?
Uh at 29.95. It stayed that way for
Yeah.
almost 2 years. Yeah, it stayed that way for almost 2 years. I literally just increased my pricing this year. I did.
Wow.
Because again, I was that one that had that heart of, this is something everybody can afford to do. And this is, and I had all of these grandiose ideas and programs and stuff that I was going to offer and offering to my community. And at the end of the day, and it was fine for a minute, but then it's like, okay, but we need to do this and we need to do that and we need this system over here and and it's like, okay, we need to increase our membership pricing, our membership fee. And we mulled it over for a couple of months. Of course, we knew what some of the backlash was going to be from it. So that's why I can speak so passionately and emphatically about do not start your membership under $97. That 97 is that sweet spot, right? You think about it,
Right.
if you have just if your goal is to get to $10,000 a month in recurring revenue, at $97, that's just a little over 100 people. How
Right.
doable is that? You add 1,000 people, that's $97,000 a month. A month just in recurring revenue off of 1,000 people. So,
Yeah, and it would take to get those numbers. It would take 4 to 5 times the amount of people to
correct.
hit that.
If you are
If you're at 30, if you're at 20 or
correct.
30
So
bucks.
imagine what you can do for your community with that. Imagine the systems that you can put in place. Imagine some of the other subject matter experts that you can collaborate and do joint ventures with and to help your community if you had those numbers. It's just phenomenal. And so, and The word of mouth. I grew my community with no ads.
That's still crazy to me. No ads.
It was strictly word of mouth. It was strictly word of mouth.
Man.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so this lady knows a thing or two. So you 25.95, you got it up to 25,000
Mm-hmm.
people, right? And you made the pivot. How's the pivot going? I'm just curious. Is it I know you said you expected some backlash and stuff. So from that pivot, was there any other maybe tips you learned that you would give to the online entrepreneurs listening?
Absolutely. Have the end in mind. Know your vision, right? We hear all the time, write the vision and make it plain, right? That's the truth. You have to know where you want to end up. What is the end goal for you and your community? What is it that you want your community and members to walk away with? What is it that you are wanting? What value do you want to bring to your community? What change in their life do you want to see? You have to know those answers clearly so that way you can start to implement all the necessary things that you need in your community to sustain it and to grow it. Because as you do that, as you grow, your community is going to grow. It's just that play because you're going to
Yeah.
now know because we don't know everything. I don't know everything. I learn something each and every day, but I ensure that I'm intentional about what I'm learning, that I'm learning the things that my community is saying that they need. And if it's something that I just flat out don't want to learn, Mike, I hire.
Yeah, I like that. You're
Yes.
smart. You're smart. Focus on your
Focus on
strengths,
my
what you're
strengths
good
and
at.
what I'm good at is and invest the money in the rest. And so, and I'm gonna tell you, before I started products and other services, it was just the community. And when I did that, it really afforded me to be able to start out to do all the things that I wanted to do and needed to do in the community at that time. A lot of people, they start their product services, their thing first, and then they create the community. Well, I created the community first.
That's what I was just about to ask you. What route should like a beginning, like let's say a beginning coach or somebody, course
Mm-hmm.
creator or somebody who wants just to build a community in general, like you recommend starting out with a membership
Yeah,
first? Is that what you found just through your experience going through this journey, what you really
absolutely.
love?
Absolutely. I would start your community first. And you may saying, well, if I don't have a product or service, what am I starting the community with? Right? People pay just for information. What
Right.
is it in your niche? Let's use hair care, for instance, natural hair care. Somebody was starting their own line of natural hair care products, right? But they didn't have the actual product that they were going to sell yet. But they wanted to build a
Right.
community of raving fans. Well, if I am suffering from hair loss, I may want to be a part of a community that it's giving me information about hair loss, different styles that I can do to my hair, right? Different products that's on the market now that I can use. Different, it's just a whole gamut of information
Yeah, I like
that
that.
you can give, and I would pay for that because it's helping me. And in the midst of me growing the community and we getting all of these raving fans that need this information, I'm now getting hearing of what they need, what they want. So now I'm ensuring that the product and service that I'm developing speaks to my current membership. So when you launch your product or service, you already have a built-in market to sell to.
Yeah. Hey, that's super dope. That's very strategic, right? She just said, let me reiterate what she just said. When you go to launch a coaching program, a video course, or a product or a service, you'll then already have a base to sell to, which is so brilliant. This is so cool, right? I never really think about that, and this could be a great way. Just as we're talking about this, it's a great way. I love whenever like people talk about value ladders. If you don't know what a value ladder is like the levels of products you have, right? So this is one of the products that a lot of people don't have for their clients, and I think it could be really cool, right? And so that's actually, Dr. Mary, I'm so excited because we just implemented this into our business, what we're talking about. And I feel like this was a missing piece, right? Not everybody can afford at this moment a $5,000 video course. Not everybody can afford a 10 or 15 or 20,000 group coaching
Right.
program or mastermind. But what if you could just start getting
Mhm.
them wins? What if you can just start getting them wins in a $97 a month
Correct.
program, right? And so I love what you're saying. This is just kind of like confirmation for me. So this is kind of like for pleasure. Like this is kind of like pleasureful for me. I'm enjoying it. So what, like, people say, okay, cool. This can be done like in a lot of industries,
Mhm.
almost every industry. Like, what would you say is like the foundation for what to include in a membership? I know I heard you just say, people
Mhm.
pay for information. But is it like you do so many calls in there a month? Is it, they get access to courses? What is an average membership community look like? And is it the same across the
It's
board?
not always the same across the board, but baseline, I would say you want to show up every week. I mean, it doesn't take a lot because number one, too much information is overwhelming to members, right? And if in your member platform every other day there's a call, there's a this, there's something else going on, then they start to feel overwhelmed and they may digress some within the participating. But if they know at least once a week, not only are you showing up, but you're showing up, giving them something, like you just said, a win, something that they can do and implement during that week. And they have a whole week to the next one before they get that next nugget. That's okay with them because it's like, oh, wow, great. It's not a whole month, which is too long, right? And it's not every
Right.
day, which can be overwhelming. So that once a week is that sweet spot. Everybody can show up in their community 4 days a week, like show up live. And then during the rest of the week, if you just
Right.
want to post something in your community, and this is where your team comes into place because you can have a team member that drop some information once a week. It doesn't always have to be the leader, right? But the leader wants to show up at least
Right.
once a week, starting out at least once a week. And then throughout the week,
Right.
you just give different information. We even play games. And we will literally, Cahoots is one of our favorite games. And we will literally get on a call just to play games with one another. Like it's
That's so cool. Like, that's different, right? That's creating that family, right? People come into your community looking for a result, right? A certain outcome, but they come leaving with so much, or they leave going out with so much more, right? They leave going out with, I don't want to leave this because this is a new family for me, and that's like you mentioned earlier. A lot of people don't have that. If you think even for yourself, if you look at your friends list, and if I was to ask probably a few of my family members, like, who's your closest friend, you'd probably see that a lot of people say they don't really have close friends, right? They maybe say a few. And so for you to provide a space where people can open up, for you to provide space where you can, get people who think the same together, people who have the same visions and the
mm-hmm,
same goals together, it becomes way more
it
than
does.
community, right? And so this is so cool, and something I wanted to hit on. It could be for some of you guys, you're like, I can't hire a team member right off the bat. Yeah, cool. Take some time. Maybe like she was saying, you can do it yourself. Maybe take some time, one day a week. Like this is, for example, I'm doing in my business. I'm doing one day a week a content shoot
Mhm,
just for social media. Now this is a little different, right? But you could do the same thing for your community. Once a week, you sit down for an hour and just write out some posts, write out some
mhm,
inspirational messages, write out some homework, and just a lot of these communities you can
mhm.
schedule them, right? So don't let your time, don't let your business, your job don't make it an excuse to not like be active and be a leader in your community, because there's ways to go about it. Shoot, you can hire a virtual assistant for $3 or $4 an hour, and you train them on your industry and your topic and have them
Yes.
schedule the stuff, right? And so, sorry, I'm on a tangent here, but I just think this is just such a good conversation. I,
No, and
I didn't
let me
want to pass
say
that up.
this, again, just as you said, when you look at the 5 or 6 people around you, friends, family. A lot of times, us as entrepreneurs, we hear that it's a lonely road, right? And most of the time,
Right.
those that were closest to you aren't the ones that are going to support you in this venture, right? And the people that you were around, they were school friends, they were great to hang out with, as you know, the club days and to do all the fun things. But you have decided to
Right.
make a decision in your life to be on the other side, right? And be an entrepreneur, and it doesn't have to be lonely. But when you look at
I like that.
those around you, most of the time they're not entrepreneur minded. So to now, not only are you creating a community for you, for your members, you're creating one for you, because now you have a couple of
Right.
hundred people that are interested in the exact same thing you are. That's why they are part of your community, that have that entrepreneur spirit. That's why they're part of your community, right? That have some of the same goals,
Right.
dreams, and aspirations. And so now your conversation isn't hard. It's not foreign. You can freely be you. You can go through things and have a community that you can just, be like, whoo, this was a hard day today, and this, you can
Right.
talk to them.
And
It's huge.
yeah. And something I want to chime in, because you said something, and you may not be an entrepreneur here. You don't have to be, and this is something cool, Mary, and I
Hmm.
think you would back me up on this. You don't have to be an
Correct.
expert to create a community. I've seen several people not be an expert in something start a community just because a lot of communities are based off accountability, right? People will join the membership, join the community just to get the accountability they need to
Hmm.
hit a certain goal, right? So you don't have to necessarily be
Right.
an expert in your space. You just have to be
Hmm.
passionate about something, and the people of course will come, if you're willing to create that space and really
No,
nurture it
no,
well. So I didn't mean, sorry to interrupt you. I just
that's
wanted to hit
absolutely
that
great,
because
because yes, accountabilities. It's when you've never done something, how do you know if you're doing it right? Where do you go to if you have questions? And of course, people will say, oh, you can Google it, you can YouTube it, but the goal is to get you from where you are to where you want to be as quick as possible. And me Googling and getting 100 different articles on what to do, and then I have to spend hours trying to figure out which one is right for me. And the same with YouTube. When you're in
right.
a community, you can go into the community and just ask. And because the community that you're part of, that they are of like mind, they are of the same passions, that you just
Hmm.
never know. And I would trust the answer of someone in my community before Google. My, my
Right.
community is Google. It is. And so everybody, instead of me Googling, I'll go into the community. Hey, I need anyone, because what's better than a referral from someone that's a part of your circle? What's better? So it is, you do not have to be a subject matter expert, if you will, in one thing, two things. You can just create a community from a passion that you love. Baking,
I like
in,
that.
in coaching, whatever it
Yeah.
is, you absolutely can. Yeah.
Love it. Well, listen, there's some of you listening or watching right now, and you're probably saying, like, I
Mhm.
have a passion for something, right? I have a passion for, we'll just say, for example, fitness. I have a passion for design, right? Whatever that may be. Like, this is the perfect conversation for you because you can learn how to monetize that passion through a community. So, one thing I want to do is that we transition, because we've been going, it's like already been like almost 40 minutes. This is blowing my mind. Like, it does not, it feels like 20 minutes. So, there's an event that Dr. Mary's put in on. I do want to share it with people because I think it's going to change the lives of hundreds and thousands of people that attend this. It's called the 5-Day Community Creator Challenge. So what this is, some of you guys have been a part of my challenges. Some of you all have been a part of other 5-day challenges. If you haven't, it's a 5-day virtual event. So it's a virtual event spread over the course of 5 days, not all day,
Yes.
5 days straight. It's like an hour a day for 5 days straight. and she was sharing with me before she came on. She's going to be showing people
Yes.
how to do this from start to finish, how to go about finding that passion, how to go to create the community. So, Dr. Mary, share real quick the vision for that event, and then I want to invite people to it because I think this is going to be
Absolutely.
an awesome event.
So the vision for the 5-day community challenge is for everybody to walk away with a blueprint and starting their community. So not just the blueprint, but they have actually started their community. So I am going to walk them
That's
through
so dope.
A to Z, because it's not enough to just be on a challenge to get the information if you're not going to implement it. You just, so yeah, so you will
100%.
actually implement a step each and every day. So by the end of the 5 days, you will have your community created. You will know what you want to do. You will know how you're going to go about doing it. I'm excited.
So it sounds like people could come out the other side with a
Yes,
blueprint to start making some money and start making an impact. This is
absolutely.
going to be so cool. This is so cool. This is so cool. So listen, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach the link below. I don't know it may be like communitycreatorchallenge.com or I don't know what the link is, but go ahead and put it. We're gonna put it the team down in the chat. Go ahead, click it, register for it. I may even come in and be a part of this. I'm talking with Mary about coming in and maybe adding some value just based off of what I have experience
Yes.
in the online space. But if you're wanting to monetize what you're doing on a recurring basis, but you also want to build a foundation of raving fans, this is going to be so powerful. Make sure you click the link below, get in that event. So Mary, what I would love to do, you have the challenge coming up. That's going to be so dope. So excited for that. Share with me like one last word, because I want to be I want to be respectful of your time and respectful of our time of our listeners and our viewers. Share one last tip for people that are, they're listening to this. This is dope. They're fired up right now. They're excited. They're ready to go. What would be one tip just to get them started and maybe just ramp up their
So
speed time
one
to getting
tip
this done?
I would say, can I give two? I'm gonna give two. I promise. So the
Let's go
first
for
thing
it.
is believe in yourself and know that you have something somebody else needs. We don't start we don't start walking
Mm.
in what we know God has for us because we don't believe that we are capable of doing it. You are not the only one. So your passion is also somebody else's passion, and they are missing the guidance and the circle that they are yearning for because you haven't started. So start. Believe in yourself and
Just
know,
start. I
right?
like that.
The second thing I would say is go ahead and start with Facebook. I'll say go ahead and start with Facebook. Everybody knows Facebook, and start a group in Facebook and go ahead and poll the people that you know. Hey, if I was to create a community based around a dire need or desire of yours, what would you want to see in it? Start polling and surveying people right now so you can gain understanding of
So
what
easy.
it is that you want, because what you think it is 9 times out of 10 is something different.
Man, that's so simple tips, but so powerful too. You guys can actually start taking action on this stuff. So, Dr. Mary, thank you so much for coming in today. I do really appreciate your time. I know you just got off
I
vacation, so
do.
you probably got tons of work to catch up with, and you got a community. Yeah, so you got a community to go tend to as well. So, listen, thanks for being here, guys. Show her some love. Comment below. Let us know what your biggest takeaway was from this conversation, and then go follow her on social media.
You can
Dr. Mary, where
find
can people
me
find you at?
on Instagram at the Reposition Specialist, because I help to reposition you. And you can find me on Facebook at Mary Boyde, plain and simple. Mary Boyde.
Mary Boyd. Gotcha. Cool. Well, go connect with her. Tell her I sent you. And listen, if Mary is a part of this podcast, if I'm promoting her events, she's a stand up lady. She's amazing. I do really believe in what she's doing. It's going to change hundreds and hundreds of
Yes.
thousands, maybe millions of people's lives over the course of next year. So you guys want to tap in with what she's doing. So
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Dr. Mary. Everybody else, listen, make sure to hit that subscribe button, whether you're listening, whether you're watching. We have episodes like this that come out every single week. And if you're a course creator, if you're a speaker, consultant, or just an online entrepreneur who's looking to market your business to success, this is the show you need to be tapping into every single week. We bring on some amazing guests, and Dr. Mary is just one of them. So thanks for watching the video.
You.
Dr. Mary, we'll see you next time. Everybody else, God bless you. We'll see you right here next week.